Governments often intervene in the marketplace to achieve societal objectives. For example, to promote energy conservation and greenhouse gas mitigation, governments have tried a variety of policies involving taxes, price floors, permits, and regulations. These policies, because they directly and indirectly influence supply and demand, have broad consequences. A tax on a good or service shifts the supply curve to the left. The extent to which the buyer or the seller pays the tax depends on the demand curve and availability of substitutes for a good or service. If demand for a good or service is entirely independent of price because no substitutes are available, the buyer pays the added cost of the tax. A sales tax or value-added tax approximates this situation. If at the other extreme, if the demand for a product varies strongly with price because many substitutes are available, the seller bears the added cost of the tax. An excise tax, such as one levied on the producer of goods such as tobacco, alcohol, or gasoline, approximates this situation. More commonly, the demand for a good or service has an intermediate response to price, and so a buyer pays part of the tax and the seller pays the remainder. Governments that issue a limited number of permits for a good or service cause its supply to become independent of price. This creates shortages of the item, shifts its demand curve to the right, and increases its price. Tightening the number of permits also increases the price of them. If its demand curve shifts, its price rises still further. The economics of global climate change does not fit comfortably into the classical mode of a free market economy for several reasons. A. Divergent national interests distort global markets for goods or services. B. Monopolies or cartels control the supply of some goods or services. C. Other relevant goods or services are free and invite indiscriminate use. D. Crucial information about many goods or services is sparse, uncertain, or not publicly available. E. Processes span several generations of human beings. This video segment and the next discuss each of these reasons and their role in the economic policies on global climate change. Divergent national interests distort global markets for goods or services. Addressing global environmental issues such as global climate change requires the cooperation of many countries. Developed countries such as the United States, Japan, and members of the European Union have been responsible for most of the greenhouse emissions to date. These countries, however, are reluctant to proceed unilaterally with reductions in emissions when much less expensive alternatives are available in developing countries such as China and India. China and India have become major emitters of greenhouse gases, but are reluctant to implement policies that might constrain their economic growth. From one perspective, China, India, and other developing countries have contributed so little to past additions of greenhouse gases that they should not be held accountable for current global warming. From another perspective, if emissions from China and India continue to increase at their current rate, then it will not matter what mitigation measures other countries implement. This issue and possible remedies are major topics in subsequent video segments on political science and international relations. In summary, number 1, market forces determine how supply and demand influence the distribution of goods or services. Number 2, in a free market, the price of a good or services reflects its value in comparison to others. Competition among vendors promotes reasonable prices and quality. Number 3, economics of climate change does not operate in a free market.